John, this is one that throws people off. They think odor means something's broken, like a clogged filter or a bad seal. But look closer at what the customer says. They rinse everything. No food goes in, no mess. But somehow, after a few cycles, the whole machine smells like a swamp, and they can't figure out why.
So that right there is actually the problem. The smell isn't happening because there's too much food inside the unit. The smell's actually happening because there isn't enough, really, when you think about it. When you rinse dishes spotless before loading, we know you're removing the exact same thing that your machine is designed to take care of for you. And it creates really a dead zone inside of that system, right? No food means no enzymes, and no enzymes means no chemical reaction that goes on inside there. So what you're left with is just like this low flow, low temp cycle that's really running over all of these trace amounts of really biofilm that never really gets blasted out of the machine for you. And the result is that odor or maybe buildup. And eventually, if you don't catch on to it, it's really full-blown contamination at that point. And it's not from the dishwasher. It's, you know, really from what you didn't give it, if that makes sense. Because here's what's really happening behind the scenes. When you remove all visible food before running a load, your dishwasher's turbidity sensor scans it out as a clean tub basin. That tells the control board to shorten the wash cycle, cut the temperature, reduce the water pressure, because it thinks it's doing a light clean for you. But what's actually in that tub is that residue that we talked about earlier. It's this invisible film that forms on your walls and this gunk that just kind of jams up in your filter. And, the water from the rinse setting that's kind of sitting stagnant at the bottom of the unit in the sump. And that's an environment, it's really a breeding ground for bacteria at that point, right? And it's not the kind of things that smell like old food. It's really like rot and mildew and even sulfur sometimes. And the machine doesn't fight it because it honestly doesn't even know it's there. And truthfully, the story can really get worse from there, because when people rinse super aggressively before their cycles, they also tend to delay until they're running a full load, right? They think they're being conservative with water and those types of things, and they're helping the machine along. So they wait longer periods of time to start a complete load. Now you've got this warm, damp, kind of foodless incubator that's in there for, who knows, a day, a two, maybe three, with no active detergent to neutralize that bacteria that's growing in that filter and in the base of that unit. And that's where you get that smell. And it's not because you left food on your plates, it's because you left nothing in there and you just kind of let that water kind of rot out because nothing picked it up. And, dishwashers that receive no actual food soil are probably 3 to 5 times more likely to develop these odor complaints in the first year. And it's never because they're faulty. It's actually because that chemical reaction that we always talk about was never triggered. So the enzymes never get activated and the rinse aids never flow properly. And, that kind of clean user habit that they think that they're being helpful with kept that system from doing the very thing it needs to do to stay clean for you. So when a customer does say, I rinse everything, but my dishwasher still smells, yeah, it does. There's no mystery here, right? It's a self-inflicted failure at that point. The system needs food, and it's not for smell purposes. It's really for that chemical reaction that we're looking for. So if you want a machine that smells clean, you need to let it do its job, essentially, right? Scrape the plate, skip the rinse, start the cycle. That's what activates a clean wash, and that's what triggers your detergent for you, and that's what keeps that internal ecosystem from turning into one of these nasty science experiments that people complain about online.